We have a really good one coming up. For the first time on our channel, we are visited by Dema or Demar Jr. Welcome to the channel. He is a person who always knows how to position himself on the most strategic and viral side of the game. He really has viral videos, but first we are going to introduce Albert, who is my collaborator and the one who will act as a bridge to Demar. Albert, how are you, my friend?
Very good, Casimiro. We are here today with another big interview.
Today we also have one of the greats. We are going one after another. We are going to choke on them one after another. Hello, Demar. How are you feeling, Demar? Do you feel prepared for the interview right now?
Hello, Temar. How are you? Are you ready for the interview?
Yes, I am ready. I am happy to be here and I would like to share. I am ready for the question.
Let's begin. He feels very good, Casimiro, and is completely prepared for all the questions we might have.
We are going to talk about youth, about when you were little, because we all like to know the more personal side of influencers, of people who are known in front of the camera but aren't known as much behind it. How was your youth, Demar? What were your favorite hobbies? And
looking back at my life when I was young, my favorite hobby was definitely soccer. This was largely because I grew up in Turin in the north of Italy, where soccer is the main sport. It is a city where the sport really defines the community. The two main teams that everyone talks about are Juventus and Torino, and the rivalry between them is something you feel every single day. I am a Torino fan. So more or less it was soccer and soccer. Anyway, after that, I like playing games. For this reason, I like Hattrick. And then back in the year 2007, I actually started playing Hattrick. It was quite a while ago now, and that's it. I am living a normal life. I have a daughter and she is just about 6 or 7 months old now. It has been such a wonderful journey watching her grow up day by day. So I am very happy. Life has changed and that's it. More or less a normal life. Soccer mainly. Now, I don't know if it's in your country, but I'm starting to play paddle. I know it comes from Argentina. I don't know if it's from Argentina or Mexico. I don't know. But it's from Spain, let me say that. Yes.
First, congratulations on your daughter. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Casimiro tells us that it is a very normal, very happy childhood. Logically, like almost everyone in this game, his favorite hobby was soccer. He mentions that he is from a city in the north of Italy. He is from Turin, and there logically the main teams are Juventus and Torino. He mentions that he is a fan of Torino. And that's it. He says that he liked soccer a lot, that his life was soccer, soccer, soccer. Then later on, thank you. He moved on to computer games, and by mixing the two a bit, he ended up in Hattrick. He says he started his team in 2007, so he's been playing for years now. And that he recently became a father to a baby girl who is 7 months old now.
that is very good. You have had a specific goal in mind all along, haven't you?
In the
Torino supporter. No, this is transparent. What cannot be of you super and you went to support. That's all.
That's 100% for sure.
Yeah.
You went.
No. He says no. He says 100% sure his daughter is going to be a Torino supporter, that it's impossible for her to turn out a Juventus fan.
How is he? I will ask how he sees Juventus in this new stage that is beginning.
He is from Torino. He is not from Juventus, no.
Torino?
The city of Torino.
How do you see Torino? And what are your thoughts on their current Serie campaign, Torino? I think so. How do you see Torino? If it is a candidate to play in European positions, or if you just like it, like I like Betis, which plays in European series from time to time, but then never finishing it off.
Unfortunately, I think this season won't be that interesting. It's always in the middle of Serie A. But as it turns out, the city of Torino actually has a really fascinating history. That is truly worth exploring. I invite you to check it out because in the past it was one of the most important teams in Italy. There is also a story behind a historic team that died in a plane crash, and that's it. The problem is that since I was born, Torino has stopped winning, but I hope that at least my
daughter will be more. Can you say the phrase again?
It is a sad reality that ever since I was born, unfortunately, Torino has stopped winning. It has been a very long and difficult wait for us.
Honestly, I really don't know what to say about that situation right now.
You said about your daughter, but I truly hope that my own daughter is, well, I suppose I just hope she is much luckier than I have been.
Than me. Okay. Casemiro says that a bit similar to your case. He says that lately the seasons for Torino haven't been too fun, that they are always in the middle of the Serie A table. A bit like the typical team that doesn't suffer from relegation but doesn't compete to play in European competitions either. He says that since he was born and therefore is a Torino fan, he hasn't had the luck of seeing them win a title, but he hopes his daughter has better luck and that they finally win a title. In
any case, I suppose he must have a secondary team, right? Juventus or Milan.
Do you have a secondary team? No. Only Torino?
But believe me, the Torino is strong, is important. So my heart is for Torino.
He says 100% Torino, Casemiro, because he comments that maybe not so much now, but that years ago, Torino was a very important team in Italy, and that in fact it has a quite a big history. He says that, for example, there was in some year they had a plane crash, and so they lost almost their entire team, I imagine. So it has a beautiful history, and we invite the followers to look it up.
Let's see. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's move on now to the Hattrick topic. Okay, let's move on to the Hattrick topic. Demar, I noticed you have a channel with about 1,500 subscribers. I've taken the time to watch your videos, and I have to say your content really seems quite fascinating to me. I think they are tremendous videos. In them, I've learned, a lot or a little, whatever I've had time to watch of the videos, because I don't have all the time in the world. But I know they have very good videos, very good ratings. How does it feel to have a channel? Well, that's as if you were asking me, but let's ask him, how does he feel? So that people watch his videos, so that people see Demar as a reference, which, if I'm not mistaken, is in the Hattrick Serie A. Hattrick Serie A.
I have to say, looking back, it really just started out as a simple hobby game for me. I began the whole project without any serious intention or long-term plan. My only real goal at the time was just to find a way to support my coaches. Because I was doing something for the national team, so I needed some guides, some tips to show with the same concept, with the same video, the training plan, or some information. So at least I had a video to share with my coach, the owner of my players that I was following on the national teams. After that, I saw that some users were using it, enjoying it. I had a lot of fun doing it. I received feedback from people who were interested in the content, and now, after, I don't know, about 1 or 2 years, I am happy because I feel that this content is helping A3C users. When I started putting in more effort, I tried to do something that would help me think about the past. What I would like to share is that when I am creating something, I am trying to think of myself 5 years ago when I wasn't as expert in A3C. So I am always trying to do something that can help all A3C users from the beginner level. It is actually very, very much more than that.
Nice. Casemiro comments that the YouTube channel started a bit as a hobby, as an extra hobby within the world of Hattrick. That at the beginning he did it a bit because at that time he started training players for the national team. So he started looking for information a bit because he needed support, he needed advice, he needed references on how to be able to do that. So he started creating the YouTube channel a bit by following and trying to share those tips that he was applying. And little by little, the ball kept rolling. He saw that he was helping more people. He was receiving good good feedback from the people who watched his videos, and he started to see that the more effort he put in, as his videos started getting better numbers, he really began to refine his approach. From there, he has been steadily developing his craft. Now, what he is trying to do is put himself back in his own shoes from a few years ago. He is really trying to imagine the information he would have loved to have had when he first started this path, and he tries to transmit that knowledge to the users who follow him in that same way.
A question I had left in the inkwell: which national or international soccer player would you have liked to embody? If you were born again, which soccer player would you choose?
I have to say Ronaldinho, because there was just something completely magical about the way he played. He didn't just compete, he performed with an infectious joy that you rarely see at that level. Whether he was pulling off impossible dribbles or scoring unbelievable free kicks, he made you fall in love with the sport all over again.
When I was young, I really liked watching him play. So for me, it's Ronaldinho. Who wouldn't want to be Ronaldinho? A person who really enjoys playing soccer, who has a great time, and who knows how to enjoy life. And
you always carry yourself with a smile, which is honestly the most important thing. So many times we get busy and forget that life is meant to be enjoyed, and we often lose sight of that. Let's continue talking a little bit more about your channel, Dema. I see you have some great posts here. Could you tell me a little bit more about those posts? I'm really interested in promoting your work. Okay, just a bit of your channel and the specific posts you have featured on there. Also, thinking about the short videos you produce, if you had to take a step back and really choose the specific series of videos, or perhaps just the individual videos that have influenced you the most personally, or even the ones that have made you a much more interesting creator, you know, the ones that have really made people feel much more invested and interested in your channel overall, which specific video or series would you choose to highlight? I am just curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Trying to test, I like it because considering that, I also think that for you, it is a hobby. I like to try all formats, etc. So I am making a short video, a long one, trying to understand what works best. I also like the long ones because sometimes we say that the longer the video is, the fewer people will follow you. For me, that is not true because it depends on what you are sharing. If you are sharing something that is interesting to the listener, they will follow you. I like it a lot, so I am proud of the Team Packs National Series because it is something I built from the beginning, and it is connecting everything I believe in the game right now, connecting team competitions and national clubs. And I think I did, and I also think it is one of the things that users are most interested in because it is a plan, a specific plan to follow to achieve a result. Besides that, in general, a user who can watch my YouTube channel can see these types of plans with these national impacts, but also some tutorials. Like I made 5 videos, mainly, no, 6, and I would like to continue. I am wasting time, but of course the tutorial, the support, as I was sharing with you before, I would like to do. I have many ideas to help the beginner level user who I would like to clear their mind so that they can simplify it and join in a better way. So for sure, one is the tutorial, and on top of that, all these packs.
These national programs are the ones that truly support the players, helping them to carefully create a comprehensive training plan. It is interesting to note that he combines these resources effectively. He really likes to combine shorter, punchy videos with much longer, in-depth instructional videos to ensure the best results. Normally, many people comment that videos should be shorter so as not to lose the attention of the people watching them. But he considers that if the video is interesting, it is also fine to give it more duration, since it also helps maintain the attention of the person watching it. The part he is most proud of would be the training plan videos for national team players, since he feels it is something he has created from scratch, and it is perhaps more his hallmark, we could say, in this world. But he is now also developing many tutorials for new players, and he likes that in that sense too, and that more videos will be coming soon, that he has many ideas to make this type of video. The thing is, as always, he lacks the time to make them, which is a bit the same thing that happens to us, but little by little he will be releasing videos. Or
I mean, we will also talk at the same time about you as the coach of Nigeria U21 and the national team, which is what you have had, what you have touched upon. I honestly don't know if you have been involved with the Nigeria U21 team before. Is that a role you have held in the past, or is it still something you are currently doing as a manager?
specifically representing the national team of Nigeria U21.
Now I've just confirmed it that it's Nigeria U21 GA2 of the national team or GA2 of the Mexico U21 national team, okay? And national coach of Nigeria, exactly. Well, yes, Albert, sorry.
Moving on to your experience at Hattrick, we have seen that you have a lot of experience with national teams. We are well aware that you have been involved with the Nigeria under-21 squad and the senior national team. Furthermore, your career has also seen you work with the Italy under-21 setup, as well as the Mexico under-21 team. Given this varied background, we are curious to know, which of these teams are you currently involved with?
I can start from the beginning. I started everything in Nigeria. I started from the under-21. I learned, I played with all my friends, I met a lot of people, and I enjoyed the national team thanks to Nigeria. I spent many years, 5 years I've been in Nigeria, starting from the under-21, and now I'm on the national team with the players who were born 5 years ago. So it's something I really like about the game because I met the owners I'm talking about now to increase stamina, etc. The same as 5 years ago. So for me, it's fantastic. And thanks to Nigeria, I was able to learn the game deeply, speaking of national teams. And I was able to do the scouting responsible for Italy under-21 and also the coach a few months ago. And it was fantastic because I saw the difference between a small country like Nigeria with a smaller bridge and a bigger country like Italy, which is the bigger community. So I was able to see everything from the minimum to the maximum, and it was fantastic. And also the community, because of course the Italian community is so active, so I liked it a lot. Sharing with my whole community all the topics about the team. I made some videos in Italian and the community was very happy with that. We did it in the final against the Netherlands. We were on Twitch with 60 people. It was something really fantastic because we were never 60 people together following the live, which unfortunately we lost in the penalties, but it was fantastic. So anyway, I won with Nigeria, bronze medal, gold medal in the U21, gold medal with the national team with the same players. With Italy, I won the silver medal in the Africa Cup. In the World Cup, I won the silver medal with Italy. And now I am supporting Mexico as a squad of a generation of young players. I am supporting all the friends I made in Mexico to improve the team. I would like to see Mexico win the Copa America. I hope my friends in Mexico do it.
If I am understanding the situation correctly, I wanted to ask, are you currently not involved with the Italy under-21 national team setup at all?
No, I really don't think so, because after waiting for 2 whole years, it just feels like it is simply too much to ask. Also because I couldn't make videos anymore, because it is really...
I imagine the community is very intense in Italy, probably similar to Spain. There are many struggles in the forum, yes.
So I was happy I did 2 years. Now I need a bit of a break, but for sure in the future, I would like to do mainly the Italian national team. And I am always supporting, but we are 50 people, sorry, not 50, 25 people, just for the 17 and 21. So I have to relax. Also, my girlfriend asked me
to do that. Okay, sounds good. Casimiro, tell us a little bit about your experience in the world of national teams. He was saying that, as you rightly say, he started his experience with the Nigeria U21 team. He started as the coach of the Nigeria U21 team. So from there, he has been growing with that team. He has come to understand the world of national teams better in Hattrick. And he says that something he really likes is that he is now the national coach of the senior Nigeria team, but with the peculiarity that he continues with the same players he started coaching in the Nigeria U21 team. So he continues to be in contact with the same managers he asked to increase stamina. Well, he continues to negotiate with them. So that is something he is very proud of. After this experience with Nigeria U21, he mentioned that he was involved in the scouting team for Italy under 21. And he saw a bit of a change in community because he went from a very small country to a very large country with a very large community where everything is very intense. He was just mentioning to us right now that there was an incredibly dedicated team of more than 20 scouts specifically for the U21s. And on top of that, there were maybe also 15 additional scouts focused solely on the various youth teams. So it is clear that everything surrounding the national teams in Italy is just very intense. And that is precisely why he feels so very proud of his time spent working there. He mentioned that he was there for 2 years, but that now he feels he really needs a little bit of rest and needs to be focused on other priorities. He mentioned that his girlfriend has asked him to slow down a bit. And well, what I was saying to him is that we can also imagine the chaos that happens when there are elections here in Spain. So I imagine that in Italy, a large community, it must be more of the same or even worse. That is what we are going to refer to. And to finish up, he tells us that he has now taken on additional responsibilities as he is also in charge of the players from one of the Mexico U21 generations. And well, that he really likes the world of national teams in Hattrick and that he's definitely not going to leave it and that sooner or later he will return to Italy as well.
Well, Italy is a strong national team, right? It's a country with 8 divisions like Spain. Or France too, perhaps. What kind of relationship does Dema have with the Italian fans? If you get along well with the Italian fans, do you sometimes try to avoid certain topics so as not to influence opinions that aren't desired? Or do you really not care at all? Do you say, look, I like to follow this path, I like to play the way I play, and that's how I'm going to play with Italy? I don't care what the fans say, right? Obviously, while being in agreement with his technical staff, so to speak.
That is a really good question. I think you know the answer to that very well from your time spent in Spain. In Italy, we divide our scouting process into tactical analysis. Scouting is kept completely independent, and this really helps me because it provides essential continuity, ensures that the player will always be a good fit for our system, and helps us maintain high standards over the long term. The tactical side is more independent for the players. Obviously, there is a community behind it that responds to the forum every week. I'm super open, I'm sharing videos, the forum, the federation, writing everything down. So I play what I like to play without any problem. I have my 4-person tactical team, Coruscant Gigidap, who has been my friend for many matches, but a lot of experience in the Guayaquil region, Nigeria, etc. Coruscant, who is another user who is supporting many national teams, for example, now in Brazil. And Danif, who is another guy, we were in the 4 and we were doing all the tactical clashes, sharing with the community without any problem. Of course, looking back, there were definitely times when some people just didn't agree with our approach, but honestly, that's just part of the game. And, you know, at the end of the day, we still won a great deal because we managed to reach the final. When you are actually winning like that, people really can't turn around and say you're doing something wrong, can they? But it's difficult.
When it comes to your community, if you ever find yourself losing that connection, it becomes incredibly difficult to navigate the aftermath and deal with the reality of no longer having that support system around you. What works very well for them is, let's say, separating the scouting team from the tactical team, as he calls it. So let's say the scouting team is indeed more in contact with the other users, and what it is dedicated to doing is trying to prepare the players as best as possible so that the tactical team can make use of them if it deems it necessary. So thank you. He comments that while being on the tactical team, where he logically had his own team with whom he worked and prepared the matches, he doesn't have any problem at all. He shares a lot of information, both in forums and with federations. He is very open in that aspect, but that in the end, you can't really be worried about what people will say, that he prepared the match as he and his team thought was best. And then logically, since they were lucky enough to keep winning matches, well, you can't really reproach someone who wins. So if you keep winning matches, no matter what people say, they can't tell you anything. But logically, in such a large community, if you don't win, the criticism is very harsh, and well, he says there's no choice but to accept it.
It is just an assumption, really. There is a small, perhaps slightly delicate thing that I simply have to ask him. Let me see. Honestly, I suspect it might be quite difficult for him to answer directly. I am curious, who is the one person who truly has the final say when it comes to the team's tactics, and more importantly, who decides on the formations? Because there must be some who either decide among everyone in a homogeneous group, one, the other, because there always has to be one who says, hey, this has to be this way, right? It has to be the one who has the final say when it comes to deciding tactics or formations. And if that's not the case, let him tell us how he does it. When they study their opponents and how they organize themselves to carry out tactics and formations. Good
question. In these years, I found this solution that I like and that I always try to continue when I am the coach. First, I work with people with whom I have a good feeling. For example, Gigi Dava, who was the guy who, in the end, we won a lot because we reached the final. So when you win, people aren't really able to say that you're doing anything wrong. But it's hard. In a big community, if you're losing, it's difficult to manage the community.
Okay, Casimiro tells us that a very good question, that we know it well from the Spanish community. Something he mentions that works very well for them is, let's say, separating the scouting team from the tactical team, as he calls it. So let's say the scouting team is more in contact with the other users, and what they do is try to prepare the players as best as possible so that the tactical team can make use of them if they think it's necessary. So he says that being on the tactical team, he obviously had his own team with whom he worked and prepared for the matches, that he doesn't have any kind of problem, that he shares a lot of information in both in forums and in federations, that he's very open in that regard. But in the end, you can't be worried about what people will say. He prepared for the match as he and his team thought was best. And then obviously, since they were lucky enough to keep winning matches, well, the one who wins can hardly be criticized. So if you're winning matches, no matter what people say, they can't tell you anything. But obviously, in such a large community, if you don't win, the criticism is very harsh. And well, he says there's no choice but to accept it.
One little thing I have to ask him. Let's see. It's quite. I don't know if it will be difficult for him to answer. Who is the one who has the final word on the tactics, on the formations? Because there must be someone who, or is it decided among everyone? Do you have a homogeneous group, one, the other? Because there always has to be one who says, hey, well, this has to be this way, right? Who is the one who has the final word when it comes to deciding tactics or formation? And if that's not the case, tell us how you do it when you study the rivals and how you organize yourselves to carry out tactics and formations.
Good question. And over these years, I found this solution that I like, and I try to always continue it when I am the coach. Firstly, I work with people that I have a good feeling with. So, for example, Gigi Dove, that was the guy I was mentioning. So we have a good rapport. On top of that, anyway, if we were four, for example, in Italy, maybe depending on the week, maybe someone is busy. But anyway, there's the guy who's studying the opponent. There's the guy who that week is doing the simulation, more simulations. He's doing the simulation of the midfield to compare what I'm doing. I always do everything simulating the midfield, checking the opponent, but I like to have a double check with my team, with my assistant coach, and that's it. In the end, from my point of view, and also when I'm acting as assistant coach, I give my perspective, but the head coach is the one who's deciding. So in my teamwork, we share everything, but in the end, the final fine-tuning is done by me. But I have to say that more or less the main lineup is always agreed upon together. Maybe just a player with a specific specialty, fine-tuning the specialty lineup, repositioning a player, how in the end, in the second half, you handle the repositioning, those kinds of things. The final touches I do myself, but always sharing my thoughts.
Okay, great. He mentions that that he used to prepare the matches. They're a team of 4, so he surrounds himself with people that he already knows, he trusts, and that he has a good rapport with, so that it's easier to reach an agreement. But within that team, everyone has their role. There's an assistant, for example, who's in charge of scouting or preparing for the opponent. Let's say he acts as an opponent scout. Then there's another one who's in charge of doing match simulations, like trying to predict who will play in a certain midfield to be able to run simulations. But he says that in the end, in his case, when he was the head coach, he let his collaborators present all their knowledge, but the one who made the final decision in his that it was always him, though often that decision is reached by consensus. For example, the starting lineup, well, they were almost always all in agreement, except for some player who might have one specialty or another and who is decisive. But that almost everything, that what he likes when he's the head coach is to sort of do all the roles, but he also lets himself be advised by his team. But in the end, it's the head coach who makes the decision.
Okay.
Another point, sorry. Can I add, this is for me, it's important, and year after year, I'm always trying to do that. I don't like, in a tactical staff of 4 or 6, I don't know how many people in a chat or WhatsApp or whatever on Discord, the confusion. What does it mean? That maybe at the last day, some hours before the match, there are a lot of people that are saying a lot of things with a lot of ideas, with a lot of scenarios. And for me, this is a confusion. I'm working during the week. I have already my idea at the beginning of the week. On Friday, when we play, there are too many scenarios. We do the simulation and that's it. I don't like to speak a lot near the match, because it's just making confusion and doubts.
Yeah, makes sense. And one last thing that Casimiro mentions is that he likes to prepare for the match in advance, that at the start of the week, he already likes to have an idea of how he's going to approach the match. And what he hates is that at the last minute, there's always a lot of confusion, a lot of people contributing new ideas. And he says that he likes to be calmer as the match approaches, knowing he's prepared well, and from there letting it flow and seeing what happens, because he believes that last-minute decisions are always bad.
Okay. Albert, I was just wondering, don't you have anything at all that you'd like to ask Dema about?
It is really nothing at all. If you want, let us go ahead and move on to the
team, right? To the team, and
yes, his team. Let's see how he's prepared it, how he's focused his training cycles, and so on.
Look, Albert, if you agree, let's talk about his career path, okay? What it was like to move up from the lowest division all the way to Serie A, what that journey was like, right? That journey, what it was like, if it was hard, what worked best for him, what's still working for him. And then I'll let you ask him a couple of questions again, okay? So that...
Very well.
Come on, thanks.
Dema, moving on to you, main team in Italy. We've commented before that you are on Serie A currently. Probably you started in one of the lowest divisions. So how was this journey? Because it's a long way from starting at 8th or 7th division. How did you reach the first division? And how would you talk us about this journey?
It's fantastic. in a big country like Italy, that could be also Spain with a lot of leagues. When you see the top league, in this case Serie A, you see this league and you never reach the top, no? And I have to say, everything started after COVID for me. It means 2020. I had time then because, well, we were all at home. I enjoyed Hattrick like never before. And since 2020 or 2021, I started with the national teams, as I mentioned, but also with my club. So everything I learned with the national team, I finally applied that knowledge to my club after years of playing where I'd make plans but stop halfway through. I wasn't sure which direction to choose. In the end, the national team projects I did were what I applied to my club. So I started with the under 21 prospects. I started training wingers and built a plan around them with 50 million. And I started following the national team targets and adding other players at the right moment. I have 4 core players that are playing for the national teams. And step by step, as I shared in my videos, I added senior players at the right time to compete when my players were 28 or 29. And step by step, I reached the top. It was natural, and I'm happy to be in Serie A because lately 90% of my time was spent on national teams or making videos. I wasn't like other Serie A users who just focused on their club, trading, and so on. So for me, this is a good achievement already. I've already won in my eyes. But I must say, I'm really enjoying the club. So now I already have ideas for the next stage because I've fallen in love with the club too. So I like Hattrick from a 360-degree perspective. Anyway, as I said, I'm happy with my national team projects because it was something I had in mind. I did it with my club and reached the top league. And this is something that I'm sharing with the users. Follow a specific plan, and believe me, if you do it properly with good economic management, you can reach the top leagues with a bit of luck.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Hattrick is a game of following your plan. That's it. Casimiro tells us that all this started a bit after COVID, which was when he spent more time on Hattrick and started developing his plan more. He felt the same way we might in Spain, which is a country with many divisions. So you look at the first division and it feels a bit far away, practically unreachable, but for him it happened somewhat naturally. So as he mentioned before, he started with the videos explaining the training plans, how to get your players into the national team. So basically, by applying the knowledge he had gained through the national teams, he started to develop his training plan. He created a training plan, in his case for wingers. He has 4 main players that he has developed, and then he has been adding the rest of the players as he needed them. And with that, it has come naturally to him. And this season, he has reached the first division, as we were saying, and it is something that he is already very proud of, because he has spent practically 90% of his time on both national teams and the YouTube channel. And so he is very happy to have achieved the goal of reaching the first division, compared to other users who maybe only focus on their team, and that he has been able to compete with them without being so focused on his team. But now he is really liking his team, and he already has many ideas for future training plans and many ideas to continue developing it. Okay, Albert, I was going to ask him, or not. Yes, if you like, let's ask him to tell us a bit about the winger training plan, which is something that the subscribers will surely be interested in. Dema, you've mentioned that you start a long training plan with wingers. How would you describe this long-term plan? Like, if you focus 100% on wingers and then all the rest of the players, you sign them fully trained, or you started incorporating them depending on the training that would come next?
I started with the idea that I wanted to build my own wingers because it was difficult to find in the market. So I wanted to personalize them by myself, and I had fun selecting them. And one of the most important is Trangoni, who is my captain. He's been playing since he was 19 with San Marino because it was a new country. So he has a lot of presence in the national teams. He's the one with the most presence in his national teams with a lot of experience. So I built everything around him following a specific plan. That was the target is 9 defending, 18 playmaking, 18 wingers, 9 passing at 29, 30 years old. So I started to do playmaking and winger to ensure that he was playing under 21 to be pushed in experience. And after that, I finished with wingers. And at that moment, I had 4 wingers with the same skill as Trangoni. And in the end, I was thinking of keeping all 4 wingers. But in the end, I thought that for tactical reasons, I preferred to keep just 2 and sell the other 2 that were less important to me, using that money to build the whole team around these 2 wingers who are really, really strong. So I bought another inner midfielder, a PNF, which for me is so important. I wanted a specific PNF for myself who plays for Panama. He's one of the top PNFs in Panama right now, and I hope he plays in the Copa America. And I also bought a central defender, and I made a video about that because I'm also doing a club walkthrough. I created the cross cycle, which is a cross in the lineup involving the central defender, the inner midfielder, the forward, and the wingers. This way, I'm ensuring a good level of ratings throughout my team. And that's it. This was my macro idea.
How did you generate the money to sign all these players? Was it just by selling the 2 wingers?
I started with 50 million.
Okay.
After that, because I sold everything, I spent, 20 million on my core players at the start. My 2 wingers in the middle of the cycle, I sold them for 150 million. 15, sorry. More or less, I made 25 million with the 2 wingers, so it was a good income. And thanks to the youth players coming from the youth academies and other season trading. But believe me, I wasn't able to do trading because my list was full of Nigerian and then Italian players, so I couldn't do any trading. That's something important that I also suggest to one of my users. Season trading, not daily trading, but just season trading is important. With just this kind of, when I trained the wingers, I sold 2. When I trained defending for 1 season, I sold the players that I had trained for that season. I built the budget from a starting budget of 50 million. I was able to ensure enough funds to reach Serie A and stay there. The main thing is managing the salaries because the salaries are so huge, and that's the main issue.
Okay, perfect. Casimiro is telling us a bit about how his plan has developed. He says that he started it because he likes wingers in a very specific way. Since he couldn't find that type of player on the market, he decided to train them himself. So what did he do? He started with 4 players, and he trained all 4 of them to be his type of winger. Eventually, he realized that with the 4 of them, he had too many players and was missing many others. So what he's done is keep 2 of those wingers. One of them tells us that he's been playing for the San Marino national team since he was 19 years old, so he has a massive experience. And then he sold the other 2 wingers, and he says that between that money he's been making from secondary training from players, he's been training a bit here, a bit there, plus an initial 50 million that he got from selling his previous team, plus selling some youth players and so on. What he's been doing is signing the rest of the players already fully trained. He says that what he likes is to define his lineup as a big cross, and from there, that's what he thinks the lineup should be. And the cross is made up of, the center back, the midfielders, and the wingers who create, let's say, the horizontal bar. And he completes the cross with a normal, powerful forward, who says that in his case, for example, he has one from Panama who is one of the strongest in the country, and he hopes that he can play for the national team in the Copa America.
Okay, well, Ademar, we're going to leave the interview here. We're going to leave the invitation to Ademar. It's quite a feeling of joy, right? Of homogeneity, right? honestly, I don't know how to define it, right? But to have here, besides the influencer, a person who is in Serie A in Italy, a division, a country with so many divisions, who dares to make some videos and give lessons, right? And that on top of all that, it turns out well for him, right? Well, it's really appreciated, and hats off, Ademar.
To all your content, because I'm enjoying a lot of for example, the video with Johan, with Chase, but all the content that you're doing is helping the community. And I always like all the users that are creating this kind of value for the community, because I think that 85-90% of Hattrick users are not enjoying the game as much as Hattrick can offer, because sometimes it's just a matter of one connection per week to check the league on Saturday. But Hattrick is more, it's a community, it's really deeper.
Yeah, thank you. Casimiro tells us that thank you very much for the praise, and that he also he thanks us for collaborating in that sense of community so beautiful of Hattrick, and that he considers that it's very important to build community in Hattrick and show the users that there's much more behind the game, that there are many users who maybe only log in once a week, check the match result and nothing else, and that Hattrick is much more than that, and that there's a lot of community and much to learn.
Hey, we've left something behind, Albert. The Johan goes back to school thing, the video.
That's true, yes.
But just to summarize, and so we don't go on, if that's okay with you, right, Albert? Only if it's okay with you. Let's ask him how Johan was as a student. And that way we end the video with a funny video, well, a funny question.
Perfect. One last question that we forgot. We know your series of videos of HT-Johan goes back to school. Just a short comment. How was HT-Johan as a student? Was he a good one?
A great student. Was doing really very well the homework season after season. The team improved. Obviously, at the end there are 5 episodes that for me are helping the beginner user. I think we shared everything that we had to share, how to move in the first steps, and not only, and I really advise everyone to see, because for me is really interesting. And both Johan but also Chase were really nice, because I enjoyed a lot to make these Johan Goes to School.
Yeah, they are both great guys.
Yeah.
Casimiro tells us that it was a pleasure to make those videos with Johan. That he was a very diligent student, that he did his homework at all times, and that his team improved very quickly, and that it was a pleasure to make those videos with them, with Johan and with Chase too, and to do a bit of the initial steps for a new user in Hattrick and not so new, because they kept developing it, and it's just that it's a good series of videos.
We'll leave the interview here for now. We say goodbye, but see you soon to Adhimar, and especially also Albert. What a great job you're doing, Albert, translating. What a great job, man. Seriously. Hats off to you. And we'll be right back, okay? So greetings, and we'll be back now.
So now you know if you want to improve. In Mundo Hattrick, you found your spot, your place. With this group of pros, you're gonna be amazed. Always learning, never stop playing. Peace, Mundo Hattrick, that's a wrap.